open desert on his face. Leads to the portal to where the monsters live. Let's be Deidre. Can you hear them call? Wake up, sleepyhead, now is your time to rise. Load up the cradle, one slumber no more. The cosmos is indifference to human suffering. But what do dreamers have?
Huzzah! Greetings, folks. It's launch day. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tim Mendes. And yes, indeed. It's a very, very exciting day indeed, because it is the launch of the Pseudopod that rocks the cradle from Mannison Press. Yep. Tonight, before I start, if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe and the little bell thing, and it'll keep you up to date with all the random stuff that I do. Tonight, I will be joined by Mannison Press's co-founders, Ron Linson and Deidre J. Owen. And I will also be doing a reading of the story Romanticising Sleep from this very book. And I will be giving away 3 copies tonight. So before we start, just to say, if you have any questions, get them down in the comments. Questions for myself, questions for Ron and Deidre. Also, if you want to be in the prize draw, I will be doing it at the end of the broadcast tonight. So if you want to be in with the prize draw, all you've got to do is write, "Give me tentacles." That's all you got to do. Just type "Give me tentacles" into the comments. Either that, or just post a little emoji of a squid or something. You know, just something tentacular, and that'll do nicely. Okay, yeah. It's out today on Amazon in ebook and paperback. If you want to get hold of a copy, that's getbook.app/pseudopod_rocks. There should be anyway, in the comments section, there should be a big old list of links. So it's in there. It saves people typing stuff. Right, so without further ado, let's bring on Ron and Deidre. I will go with Deidre first. Hello.
Hello.
Joining me from sunny Florida.
It is so good to be back, Tim. It's really good to see you again.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't break this time.
Yes. Oh, that was so embarrassing.
It was hilarious. It was really funny. It's really funny. It's actually kind of because when I tried to play the trailer the other day before the unboxing video, it started to do it again, and I worked out what it was. It was because the video was too big, so I had to cut it in half, and I had to sort of physically swap it while I was doing it.
That makes sense. Yeah, it is. It's a big video. So
yeah. So, but in case it did go wrong, I had my test card ready. The old BBC test card with me and an octopus instead of a little girl and a clown.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, we don't get the little girl and the clown. That sounds amazing. I want to see that. You got to.
Yeah. I don't think we get it anymore because we're 24-hour TV. But as a kid, midnight. That sound meant midnight because that was when the BBC went to sleep.
We would get like snow or like the little bars or something. I do remember that when we were kids too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrifying, isn't it? Terrifying. Right. So let's bring on our second guest, joining us from New York. It is Mr. Ron Linson. Hi, Ron.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Tim. How you doing? Hey, Deidre.
Good. Yeah. What's it like there in New York today?
It's cloudy, gray, kind of cool. You know, perfect October weather. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty much what is it. Well, actually, that's a lie. Here, it's been raining for like the last week. We had thunderstorms and all kinds of crap this last week. It's been quite dramatic, really.
It must be a lot of fun. Yep.
Yeah. It's been a welcome change because we had a weirdly hot summer for us, and I'm not built for hot temperatures. It's like if I went to where you are, Deidre, Florida, I just couldn't cope with it.
I'm not built for hot temperatures either. Or the cold. I need like this weird little. I'm like an orchid. I have to have perfect temperature, like 70 something. Otherwise, I wilt or I wilt. I don't know. But it has been absurdly hot, and it's still absurdly hot. I've got all my blinds drawn because the sun is just like beaming in here right now.
Oh man, yeah, right, yeah. So, hang on, where are we? Wrong. Sorry, I'm mucky. I've been over ambitious with the banners and things, and I can't find everything now.
I'm reading the comments. Rhiannon Lodge, she asked, hasn't it been raining there since the Big Bang?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, she's a fine one to talk. She's a fine one to talk. She's in Canada. It's just as bad in Canada.
Right?
Yeah. So, Deidre, yeah, as we've discussed before, you are the person who created this wonderful bit of art.
Yes, I am. Oh, I love it. It came out so great. Oh, my word.
I'm so pleased with that cover. It's just fantastic.
It's absolutely one of my favorites. It's one of the favorite covers I've ever made. I absolutely love the way it came out.
Yeah, so I had to have a T-shirt printed up with it on. Yeah.
Is that your shirt?
Yeah, that's my shirt. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I love it.
I had to do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it had to be done. So how long did it take you to come up with it once you'd got the idea? How long were you beavering away at it?
Well, I had the idea right away. I mean, the title is right there. It's right there. I was like, I need to do this. I need a woman cradling something with tentacles because this is Tim and this is his book and this is what needs to happen. So I worked from images. I went on the hunt for just the perfect image of a woman cradling a baby, and there she was. She was amazing. Just the whole setup, the lighting and the whole setup of it was great as a baby. So from there, I had to figure out how I was going to get tentacles and all this stuff. And so I had my 10-year-old daughter stand there with my camera phone, and I bundled up some blankets, and I held it as, you know, in that the same position as the woman. And she took like me to try to get that perfect angle to create the bundle. So nice. The bundle, that's actually a blanket that I have in my house with the little pom-pom.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite blankets. And then incorporate tentacles and shadows, because the shadows really make it. That was the thing. No, it's not ready. There needs more shadows. Needs more shadows.
So, Ron, you've done an absolutely superb editing job on it, as always. But like, you really went there. I'm so pleased with it, and thank you, because you've done a superb job. So, how long does it take you to do sort of a book of this length?
Well, we had several other projects going at the same time, so it probably took a lot longer than it should have. Normally, it would take me maybe a few weeks, probably. Yeah. You know, it was a lot of fun, though. I have to say that even though it was a lot of hard work, it was a heck of a lot of fun going through each story, because, you read something, you're, oh, wow, that's great. But when you really dig down deep into it, you kind of get more detail, when you're editing, and you're like, okay, this works, but this doesn't, then I go to you and I say, okay, fire escape this and fire escape that. And
the fire escape.
Yeah. Because you're different from the United States to England, to the UK. Excuse me. Yeah. And, so it's just one of those situations where it's a, original thing, so, I just said, are you sure you want to, do this and do that? And, you've always been very, very quick in responding to that kind of thing. And I appreciate that as well. You're a very responsive author.
Yeah, well, I like the hands-on editing style. And I know some writers don't and some do, but I prefer the hands-on. I prefer to talk about it and go through it and that kind of thing.
It's a cooperative thing. We try to make your stories the best they can be.
Exactly. Yeah. So, any people out there, any of you self-published authors or anything like that, both Deidre and Ron do offer their services, editing and design. Deidre's design is mannisondesign.wordpress.com. It's got a nice little portfolio and stuff on there. And Ron's, if you want his superb editing skills, that's MannisonEdits.wordpress.com. Excellent. Like I say, if you have any questions for Deidre and Ron, get them in the comments section. Let me have a look now what we got here. Ooh, there's quite a lot of comments. Blimey. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Excellent. Got some people with Bonnie going.
Craig Crawford's here. Hi, Craig. Hi.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Hello.
So one of our authors. Our authors are they're like my children. I love the interactions that we have with all of our authors. I feel very attached to them. I don't know. I think that's one of the nice things about running a smaller indie pub. We just got a little micro publisher here, and it gives us an opportunity to connect with the people that we work with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that kind of I like that kind of interactivity. If that was our emergency screen here, he wouldn't change the channel. Yeah, what a picture of me in in a dress with a squid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Superb.
Right. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's got quite a lot of comments to go through. I'm going to have to go through and find all the pictures of squids and stuff. It's like, so keep them coming if you want to join in. Squid-tacular. Yeah, that's an entry. A nice picture of a squid here and there. That's perfect. Yeah, excellent. Right, so what I'll do is I will take you to off. Are you all right to come back on in a bit and see if any questions come up? Yeah, perfect. Thanks, guys. I'll take you off now. Right. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a reading of one of the stories from the Pseudopod that rocks the cradle. I'm going to read the story "Romanticising Sleep," which is one of the more bonkers pieces in the book. So this should be a good laugh. It's this is going to be funny. Okay. Drip, drip, drip. Bitter-smelling laudanum forced its way through the gradually melting sugar cube. The creeping liquid captured glittering crystals in its wake and dragged them on its free-fall dive into the green liquid below. Earthy undertones and sweet high notes merged with the sharp flavors of wormwood and aniseed to create a drink fit for a poet. As a dash of tepid water was poured through the trident spoon that perched over the glass, the remnants of the sugar disappeared, and the liquid changed from a deep emerald to a milky mint. With one brief stir of the spoon, it was ready. Webster Thomas Angove loosened his lace cravat and reclined in his wing-back chair opposite the guesthouse window. Taking a deep pull on his carved beech and silver opium pipe, he gazed out of the rain lashing the bleak hills of Bodmin Moor before blowing smoke rings and setting it aside. The wind howled, rattling the worm-eaten sash window as he took up the glass and knocked it back in a large gulp. Webster gripped the chair and sucked air through his teeth as the absinthe scorched a trail down his gullet and set a fire in his guts. And now to unlock the mysteries of sleep, those pockets of eternity, those windows on the human heart. Webster stretched out a shaky hand and placed the glass on the table next to his open notebook, quill, pen, and inkwell. For the last 3 weeks, Webster had isolated himself in the Cornish wilds and was swimming into the murky green waters of oblivion in search of his muse. It was a pity that the only muse he possessed was the drink and drugs themselves. Without them, he was nothing. As a latecomer to the romantic party, Webster saw himself as the Byron of his generation, when in fact he was more of a poor man's De Quincey. He lacked the transcendentalism of a Byron or a Shelley, and instead romanticized the poppy in an overly florid way that had garnered little interest and more than a little derision. Webster wasn't so much mad, bad, and dangerous to know as drunk, stupid, and irritating to be around. The movement itself had begun to wither and die as the 1830s dawned, and Webster Angove did little to slow the decay. Alcohol and opiates tugged on his eyelids like lead weights as the soft pitter-patter of rain on glass tapped out a soothing and hypnotic rhythm. The black curtains of Webster's subconscious parted to reveal a vast abyss of shimmering green, punctuated by tiny specks of crystal light like a billion falling stars. There was no up nor down, simply a swirling current that dragged his reeling mind further into the nocturnal maelstrom. After a moment or three of utter blankness, his mind sharpened to a point and began to take in the environment around him. Webster was twisting gently in an ocean of absinthe green. There were no fairies, green or otherwise, just bubbles, countless bubbles that formed for a nanosecond, then collapsed. Each one a fragment of his neurotic personality. Guilt, resentment, anger, guilt again. Each one popped as he surged through them on his downward plunge towards the single solid object in the endless fathoms of his dream. Faster and faster he dived until the pressure started to tug on his flabby jowls, dragging his mouth into a disturbing rictus. The solid object got larger and larger as it got closer and closer. His mind was too dulled by opiates to realize what the object was until he was passing through it. Webster slammed headfirst through a large arched window and into a solid wall across a narrow corridor. The window exploded in vicious shards of glass and splinters of rotting timber. As his rotund body slammed into the wainscoting, generations of dust billowed into the air. Each dancing mote represented those who had come before, those who had voyaged deep into their own minds to find that elusive creative spark. Many tried, though few were ever successful. Some escaped with their sanity, while others... Groaning with pain, Webster ruffled the fragments of dead poets and broken dreams out of his thinning hair and struggled to his feet. He squinted through the miasma of debris and gazed down a long corridor. The window he entered through melted like candle wax before his uncomprehending eyes then solidified into a perfect reproduction of Francisco Goya's Saturn devouring his sun. Webster shuddered as he dusted his frock coat down and hitched up his trousers. What the devil is that abomination doing here? His voice echoed and reverberated, then came back a hollow fragment of its former self. The unease in his timbre had been exaggerated to such a degree that it made him wince. Webster hated to show any sign of weakness. Ancient floorboards creaked and groaned as he shifted his weight from foot to foot. Shafts of sickly green light poured through grimy skylights, casting lengthy shadows that seemed to gawk and leer in his direction. "Come along then, dear fellow," he said to himself with the enthusiasm of a drunk when the last bell had sounded. "Let me gaze upon my muse. I want to see her laid bare and willing." Choosing to take the left-hand path, Webster started towards the nearest pool of light. A procession of glimmering embers along the walls at regular intervals sparked and sizzled, then roared into flame. Webster jumped and shielded his eyes as candle sconces burst into dazzling light and stretched onwards into infinity. "Let there be light, and you could see for bloody miles." Webster guffawed at his own witticism and strode more confidently into the distance. Every sconce was punctuated by art of a singularly grotesque aspect. Nightmare figures in scratchy German wood carvings glared across the corridor at Rubens's Massacre of the Innocents, as though they were getting some form of sexual gratification from the display. Rosa, Bruegel, David, they were all here, the obscene and the twisted, the disturbed and disturbing. Webster didn't like them one bit. His own artistic temperaments leaned more towards titillating depictions of buxom wenches, not this slaughter. Beauty in tragedy, the serenity in sickness, the ecstasy in death, Webster muttered wistfully as he tried to comprehend a vivid depiction of two severed heads by Gerichaldt. Is that what you're trying to show me, my dearest muse? Almost in answer, the corridor began to shake. Plaster poured from around the chipped frescoes that adorned the ceiling like waterfalls and gathered in pyramidal mounds like half an hourglass. Webster thought they looked like pert breasts. The candles flickered and danced, making his eyes ache from the strain of trying to remain focused. He closed his eyelids, just for a second. Bang! By God and all the saints, what was that? Webster stumbled in alarm as he opened his eyes to find himself inches away from a dead end. He placed his puffy, sausage-like fingers on the wall and patted it. It appeared solid. Why do you toy with me so, my angel? He turned around and found himself staring at a large bookcase that blocked the corridor. What's this then? He placed his hands on his hips and puffed out his cheeks as he browsed through the titles. Each one was a beautifully bound collection of poetry from every romantic poet that he had ever heard of. Byron, Baudelaire, Shelley, Polidori, Coleridge and Keats. Nobody was missing, except him. Webster snarled as the realization hit home. He grabbed tome after tome and slammed them to the floor in anger. Jealousy goosed his buttock cleft with an icy green finger, sending shivers of frustration fluttering up and down his spine. A pox straight from the loins of the whore of Babylon upon the wretched lot of them, he bellowed. What do they have that I don't? He waited for a second. When he got no reply, he put his boot through the back of the bookcase. It splintered like matchwood to reveal the corridor beyond. Smiling to himself, Webster touched his forefinger to his lips before musing, the purity of anger, the righteousness of rage, the sweet flower of vengeance. Yes, I see it now. Show me more, fair goddess. I beseech you. I want to see it all. The corridor shifted before his eyes, the floorboards twisting and buckling as it bent into a right angle. Webster walked confidently towards the new corner and turned. Before him was another small stretch of corridor and then another corner. He turned again, and before yet another corner was a shimmering pool of liquid on the wall. He closed in and peered into its iridescent depths. Space sped on into infinity as Webster gazed into the depths of the cosmos. His lips trembled with awe as stars collapsed and black holes devoured planets. Asteroids collided and fragmented into smaller asteroids that then in turn collided. On and on it went, destruction dancing its endless ballet as Webster struggled to deal with the scope of the madness. Finally, his voyage ended, and there, in the center of the universe, he gazed finally upon the utter truth, the ultimate truth. Behind everything was chaos. The blind idiot god Azathoth swayed to the sounds of his perfectly orchestrated cosmic destruction, indifferent to all life. Swirling with nuclear energy, his vast tendrils of burning matter directed the ebb and the flow of destruction. Perfect chaos, immaculate destruction. Webster scratched his head. I don't understand. How does this help me? What are you trying to show me? He pondered the meanings for a moment and came back, still lacking insight. Tipping his head to the sky, he spoke, I must harness my anger and my negative thoughts and embrace the beauty in the dark corners of the soul. That I understand. But this, gesturing at the cosmic window, he trailed off as he spotted strange objects cavorting in the madness. What do we have here? Strangely shifting life forms composed of skewed angles and rippling protoplasm hunted through the debris of shattered planets like a pack of hounds. They snapped and tore at any and all organic matter in their way, seemingly insatiable. Webster watched their bodies flicker and shift as they darted from food source to food source, always in a perfectly straight line. There was no deviation from point A to point B. There were no curves in their motion whatsoever. Anything in their path was atomized. "Sweet Lord, what foul beasts are these?" Webster gasped. The pack alpha stopped and glowered in his direction, its eyes crossing infinity like it was nothing. A monstrous roar filled the corridor. The wooden wainscoting rattled and shook. Nails sprung from the dusty floorboards and tumbled in the air continuously, as though weightless. Webster cried out in alarm as multiple malformed faces with canine snouts ending in a slavering tentacles sniffed the solar winds, searching for his scent. "Stop it! Stop it, I say!" Webster shrieked as he backed away from the window and collided with the opposing wall, sending one of Bosch depictions of the Inferno tumbling to the floor. The astral window bulged into the corridor before shrinking back into itself and imploding in a cloud of gelatinous particles that fell to the floor like oily rain. All that remained in its place was a jagged hole in the masonry that opened out into an endless, yawning void. "I've seen enough. Let me leave," Webster whispered in a wheedling tone. It appeared that his wish had been granted when, with a mighty crash, a door materialized where the next corner had been. Breathing a sigh of utmost relief, Webster ran to the door, twisted the tarnished brass handle, and pulled it open. "What in the name of—" Behind the door were two sections of wall meeting in a perfect right angle. It blocked the way in a perfect V of unyielding masonry. Webster placed one of his clammy palms on one of the walls, then quickly retracted it, hissing an oath. The wall was hot to the touch and vibrated so vigorously that the air around it warped and contorted. Blowing on his singed fingers, Webster started to back away as the confluence of the walls started to fizzle with such a chaotic blend of colours that his brain couldn't comprehend what he was viewing. It started to radiate further and further towards the frame of the door, revealing the depths of the cosmos behind it. Webster tentatively stretched out his hand in the direction of the expanding rift. The muzzle tendrils belonging to the alpha of the hunting pack suddenly burst from the corner. Webster screamed and took to his heels. The creatures had his scent and were now in pursuit. The Bosch print burst into a column of hellfire as his feet brushed the splintered frame. The hound was gradually materializing as it forced its way from the void and into Webster's subconscious. Jagged legs with sharp angular joints slammed down onto the floorboards as the abomination howled to announce that the hunt was on. As Webster scrambled like a corpulent fox, the air crackled with static and filled with the fetid smell of ancient putrescence. Rank, metallic blood dripped from the severed heads as he turned the first corner. The candles guttered and died, leaving only the eerie green light for guidance. Passing the next corner, Webster bellowed in fright as that too started to seethe and crackle. The first creature was through, and its claws skittered and scraped against the wood as it raced after him. Another corner, another rift. His lungs burned and his heart felt like it was going to explode. Saturn snarled hungrily. His bulbous eyes swelled out from the canvas like ghastly tumours before rupturing in twin geysers of rancid yellow pus. His left foot slipped on the foul-smelling ichor, and he collided with the wall. The corridor rumbled, shook and twisted, and Webster suddenly found himself on his hands and knees on the wall. Looking behind him as he rose to his feet, Webster shrieked as the third creature was almost in the corridor. His fellows were about to round the corner, so Webster ran in mortal terror. The paintings that now hung under his feet had all started to twitch into horrific life. Blood splattered, and the gnarled hands of demons and the victims of torture and plague groped the air and tried to snag his feet as he dodged around the prince. The corridor stretched and stretched as he ran. The next corner was now a pinprick on the horizon. His guts lurched as the corridor jumped and twisted once more. Now he was on all fours on the ceiling. Tears rolled down his gin blossom blotched nose and pooled on the plaster. The hounds were slowly and deliberately stalking towards him. Saliva dripped from the lamprey-like maws under their questing tentacles. Their eyes burned with hate and hunger as they came for his rotten soul. With a mighty rip, the plaster beneath him cracked and shattered. Webster found himself tumbling down into the floor above. Slam! Webster Angove grunted with pain as he fell out of the wing-back chair onto the floor of the guest house. The room spun as he tried to right himself. Webster vomited bright green fluid onto the dusty, threadbare carpet. Webster wiped his mouth with the back of his hand and managed to gurgle, "Yes," to the person at the door. "Mr. Angove, it's me, Mary the maid. Is everything all right?" Her youthful Cornish burr had notes of genuine concern in its usual melodious tinkle. Getting unsteadily to his feet, Webster used the furniture to keep himself stable as he clattered over to the door. Mary winced as he pulled it over, and she caught a gust of his rancid breath. "Sorry, my dear, I've had a little accident." He gestured to the vomit down his shirt and the puddle on the carpet. Mary frowned, then sighed. "I'll fetch water, that'll stain otherwise." Leaving the door ajar, Webster wobbled back over to the chair and collapsed into it. He dipped his tatty quill, he couldn't afford one of those newfangled dip pens, into his gloopy-rimmed inkwell and started to scribble on a blank page in his notebook. At first, he tried to write his dream experience scene by scene, but he'd already started to melt and drift into fragmented icebergs in the endless sea of green. Crossing out what he'd written, Webster decided instead to list what he had taken from the experience. Tragedy, sickness, death, anger, rage, vengeance, destruction, chaos, hounds, Tindalos. Huh? Webster's eyebrows knitted together like two caterpillars locked in mortal combat as he struck out the final word. He had no idea what it meant, nor why he'd written it. His blood quickened as he remembered the awful beasts that had turned his dream quest into a nightmare. He could still hear their awful bayings and smell their vile musk in his nostrils. Reaching out a trembling hand, Webster retrieved his cut crystal glass and poured 2 fingers of brandy. The muse speaks. All I have to do is listen. Webster swirled the amber liquid, then took a sip. But how to put it into practice? At that moment, Mary returned with a chipped bowl and some cheesecloth rags. Pardon me, sir, I won't be a minute. She got down on her hands and knees and started scrubbing with her back to him. The rhythmic movement of her hindquarters made his desire stir. It had been an eternity since he last felt the touch of another human being. Now seemed to be a good time to flex his newly discovered poetic muscles. With his new techniques, seduction should be a cinch. Once Mary had finished scrubbing up his evacuated vomitus and got to her feet, Webster addressed her. My dear Mary, what a wild Cornish flower you are. She turned and looked at him with a confused expression. Pardon? Your eyes glisten like sunlight's kiss on a puddle of festering blood. Her look turned into a startled frown. Your mouth as welcoming as an open grave. Mary gasped. Oh, let me watch the serpentine contours of your spine as you writhe and squirm. Mary's eyes flashed with anger. Let me bask in the infernal heat of your breath as I watch your pert... Mr. Angove! Mary scowled after slapping the taste of brandy from his mouth. How dare you talk such filth? She grabbed the bowl and hurried from the room, slamming the door behind her. Webster rubbed his stinging cheek. I was going to say cheekbones. He shook his head. What was wrong with the girl? This was good stuff. He grabbed the notebook and started scribbling. Perhaps Mary was too provincial for such prose. Yes, that must be it. Webster was convinced that now, after decades in obscurity, he was about to make his mark. As he scribbled on the page, the window frame rattled as the wind howled outside. The sound made his hair bristle as he remembered the dreadful hounds. Each tap of rain was their vicious claws on wood and plaster. He couldn't concentrate. After the first few lines, his mind had wandered back to his nightmare flight from those hunters from the void. One mighty gust of wind made him drop his quill. He glanced down as he picked it up and saw what he'd been scribbling. Tindalos hounds, Tindalos hounds, Tindalos hounds. Over and over, all the way down the page in an increasingly frantic scrawl, were two words, hounds and Tindalos. As he gazed at his manic writing, his eyes started to drift and cross. The angles of the letters seemed to morph, dance, and arrange themselves into hundreds and hundreds of right angles. Webster rubbed his eyes, then slugged back the brandy. The room came into sharp focus, but the page remained corrupted. He tore the page from the book and screwed it up before yelping with pain. The paper was hotter than the fires of Hades as it seethed with nuclear chaos. He threw it into the corner and blew on his hands. The paper erupted in a flare of cavorting blue static. Webster leapt from his chair. No, it can't be, it's not real. The corner throbbed and undulated before tearing down the centre. Webster bolted from the room as the first of many tentacles poked into reality, sniffing for their prey. Running for his life, Webster headed for the stairs, screaming blue murder. The evil hound followed him out of the room and raced down the corridor. Get back inside! Save yourself! The frantic poet bellowed at an inquisitive face that poked out from another of the rooms. The other guest watched as he almost tore the banister off the staircase as he tried to control his momentum. She didn't see a hound. Down the stairs he tumbled and collided with the guest house owner as he raced for the door with the terrible entity hot on his heels. The owner dropped a tray of glasses and hurled an obscenity at his back. He didn't see a hound either. Furious, the owner and Mary ran out into the storm just in time to see Webster Ango disappear into the tumble-down barn across the yard. Moments later, an anguished scream reverberated into the night sky. It was followed by a sickening gurgle that sounded like something having its soul sucked out from its gullet with a tube made of organic matter. Mary looked at the owner. He shrugged, held up his hands in despair and rolled his eyes. Bloody poets. The end. Yep, that was Romanticising Sleep from the Pseudopod that rocks the cradle. Okay. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Excellent. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Nice Hound of Tindalos. Yeah, there we go. I knew you'd appreciate that, Eric. Romance never truly dies. Webster Ango, last of the romantics. Okay, right. I'm just going to bring on Deidre and Ron. How are you doing, guys?
Good. I was all wrapped up. I still have my proof copy here. See, there's.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I saw you reading along.
Yeah, there was the proof. I was like, you're following along and reading. Oh, Tim, that was an absolute treat. That was amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm glad I chose that one to do.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I chose it. I thought it would work. I thought it'd be one of the ones that would work at a live thing. Some stories work better than others.
It was really neat to hear that read aloud. And just some thoughts that came to mind while I was listening to you read it is it's so different hearing you read it because it is a brutal car crash of chemical influence and the desperation of a creative. It really drives it home listening to you read it. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much.
And you did the voices very well. You did Mary very, very, very accurately, I think.
Thanks. I hope there's nobody from Cornwall actually listening who can give me a slap for my dreadful Cornish accent.
I couldn't tell you the difference. Yeah.
I wouldn't know the difference either. Over here, I'm sitting here. Oh, that's a Cornish accent. Oh.
Well, it was more of a generic West Country than actual the Cornwall.
Right.
It was probably closer to Somerset, but it's close enough. Yeah, excellent. Sorry, I'm just writing down people's names for the old prize drawer at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to put you both on your spot. When you were reading it, what were your favourite stories out of it?
I was wondering if you asked that. I got to go pull up the table of contents here.
For me, it was Toad and the Princess, actually.
Really?
That's kind of where I went to. That's kind of where I went to. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, well, funny enough, Nat Whiston, who's watching now, that was one of her picks as well. Yeah.
Let's see. I liked Pickles. I thought that was a really fun story.
Ah, yeah.
I loved Mother's Love as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the old magpies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that, because these are all ones that were new to the volume, so I'm really happy that they're the ones that people are liking, because that would have been a bit.
It's a really nice blend of stories that had already been published and new stories, which I think makes for a really nice volume, because there's some things that fans of Tim Mendes might be, but then all this new content too.
Yeah, I mean, I like that myself with short story collections. If you get people, if you get like a mixture of old and new, it's I like that. So I'm a big fan of short story collections. That's why this has been my ultimate goal since I started writing. So I've had novellas and things like that, but I've always wanted a short story collection. So yeah. So this is like, woohoo! Right.
And you even have a tie-in for your Burning Reflection and with the After Image story.
I do, yeah.
That's right. Yes, yeah. I remember.
And there's Hollow Hills as well, which will tie into all that as well. Yeah, because obviously, yes, for the viewer at home, my first novella was Burning Reflection with Mannison Press, and that was set in the village of Hollow Hills. And Romanticising Sleep is kind of a pseudo sequel, not Romanticising Sleep.
After Image.
After Image, yeah, thanks, Ron. Yeah, that's almost like a pseudo sequel to it in a way. It's but there's an actual sequel to it coming out next month, which is Boiling Shadow. So yeah.
Very exciting. I remember when we were reading through the stories, when we were talking about publication, and I had read through After Image, and I got toward the end, I was like, that's part of
nice.
Burning Reflection was really cool. That was really neat.
And of course, we published A Monster in the House before.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Rather partial to that one.
Yeah.
That was in Little Boy Lost.
It was in Little Boy Lost. Yes, indeed.
One of our anthologies. The early days, our early anthologies. Do you have it here?
Which was one of the it was actually the first.
It's holding up my laptop right now.
All right. I wondered what the hell you were doing there. Because you got it. Excellent. Yeah, because
this is in the illustrated copy. I was going to show the illustrated one. Where is it?
Oh, damn it! I should have brought it down. It's on my.
I have it somewhere. I might have to hop over there.
That was my first multi-genre thing that I was ever in.
That was really fun to do. Something multi-genre on a theme.
Yeah, and up to that point, it's still one of my biggest claims to fame. I've been in a book with Piers Anthony.
Oh, well, yes. Pardon my jiggliness here. I'm trying to find I've got all the books propping up my laptop. So I'm trying to find the illustrated edition under here. Where are you? Oh, there you are. All right, hold on. I'm going to tip over a second. There we go.
Right, I have got the entries in the old octopus pot. So, excellent. Right. I'm going to give away 3 copies now while Deidre tries to find a picture. Yeah. So, right.
That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. Here it is. I was a little girl.
Oh, yeah.
So,
3 copies of this lovely book will be going to one of the lucky winners right now. So let's pick the first one. Oh, hang on. Try not to do that thing where I throw them all over the floor.
That was fun last time. It made for an adventure.
Oh, it did make for an entertaining evening, didn't it? Right, our first winner is Mr. David Bowmore. David, well done, mate. You will be getting a signed copy of the Pseudopod, The Rocks of the Cradle. Okay, our next lucky winner is... Jennifer Garrett. Well done. I think you've won one of these before. It's not a fix, I promise you.
Yes.
Well done, Jennifer. Excellent. And the third and the final winner is... Daniela Bogdan. Well done, Daniela. Oh, cheers for tuning in. Yeah, excellent. Right, yeah, so they're the 3 lucky winners. Don't be too disappointed if you haven't been able to get one. I will be selling some copies. Keep an eye out on Facebook and things like that. I'll be figuring that out at some point. I'll also be doing a book fair in November. I erroneously said October the other day in the unboxing video, basically because I'm an idiot. It's actually in November. It's November the 20th, not October. So don't go turning up at the Brighton Unitarian Church on the 20th of October because nobody will be there. It's the 20th of November. And I will have some copies there. I'll be signing copies of this, Burning Reflection, Spiffing, various bits and pieces. I'll have a whole smorgasbord of tentacular fiction. Excellent. So, yeah, thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you, Deidre. Have you found it?
I found it. I had to go through all the books. But I did it. Little Boy Lost. There was
there we
Monster
go.
in the House.
Excellent. I love that. Yeah. You got the feel of that story perfectly there.
That was so much fun. Monster in the House. That was a little illustration I did for the illustrated edition of Little Boy Lost. That was
brilliant.
Tim was part of it.
Yeah. Again, like, yeah. Is that when I'd been accepted and you announced the whole list of people in it, and it was like, oh yeah, and Piers Anthony's in it. I was like, what? Piers Anthony?
That was so, and we've published several things by him, which is really, it's an incredible honor to have been, publishing some of his original works. We've done several of his stories.
Yeah, he brought out a mini book not long ago, didn't you?
We did. We combined some of his shorter stories into one larger work. So.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, so before you go, what are you two up to now? Go for you first, Ron. What are you working on at the minute?
Well, I'm editing your Boiling Shadow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just gave you the edits this morning, in fact.
Yes, you did indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
So, then we have a couple more. We have the I Am Become Death by Rhiannon Lotz coming out later this month.
Very soon.
Yep.
Very soon.
Yep.
Rhiannon's there. She's in the comments. I saw her over there.
Yes, she is. I did an after hours with her the other week. That is in my YouTube
that was great.
channel.
I enjoyed that.
So,
And of course, we have a mystery novella coming out early November 4th, I believe. The Stranger from the Storm.
It's from Bill McCormick. He's here in the comments.
He's here too as well.
I
did an after hours with him the other week as well. It's not gone up yet, but yeah, I did an after hours. We had a great chat with him the other week.
We're excited.
So yeah, cheers for tuning in, Bill. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, all this stuff is in my YouTube channel. There is a link in there somewhere, right at the beginning. Scroll right up to the top of the comments, and you'll find the link. So Deidre, what are you working on at the moment?
Well, let's see. I'm working on the cover art for another one of our upcoming novellas. Owen Atkinson has one coming out called Blood Bounty. So we kind of went back and forth early on. Sometimes I get a jump start on the cover art. Sometimes it's bang on. I hit it the nail on the head there it is. Everyone's happy. This one I had a little misfire, so we're trying to work through. I've been trying to work through some of the details and trying to come up with something that works a little better. And I was working on it today. If you're out there, Owen, I've been working on it today, and I think I came up with something that might work. So I'm really excited. I got to work with blood. Okay, this is so stupid. So because I'm always thinking about stock photos and graphics and stuff. It was a few months back. I cut my finger in the bathroom. I was rummaging a drawer and I cut my finger pretty significantly, and I'm leaning into the sink, and I call for my son, help! I call for my husband, help me, I need help. And he comes in, he's like, what? I was like, I cut my finger. Grab my camera.
Get my camera.
Pictures of my blood in the sink, all these drips, and that's what I was using today to help build this cover of Blood Bounty.
That's brilliant.
If this works out, it might have my actual blood.
I want my camera. Yeah.
It might actually have my blood on the cover, so we'll see if he likes it. If you're out there, I've got it coming to you soon. So.
I mean, you've already had your severed hand in a couple of illustrations.
I did.
Yes.
It's still attached. See, I got two hands, but I had from before.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Right, thank you guys. Thanks for coming on tonight. That's been absolutely brilliant. That is Deidre, Owen, and Ron Linson from Mannison Press. Righto. Yeah, so congratulations to our lucky winners. I will get these out to you later this week when I find an envelope big enough, because it's a big old book. All my because everything I've put out so far has been novella size, so they fitted in smaller envelopes. I'm gonna have to get some bloody big jiffy bags for these. Excellent. Yeah, I will get them out, and I will also be offering some up for sale and things like that. Also, this Friday, I will be joining Mr. David Green for a live stream on his Facebook channel. He will be interviewing me about this book. And if you know anything about me and David, it's probably going to be hilarious, basically. We'll probably just be waffling. And yes, actually, Mr. David Green provides the foreword in here. And it is well worth a read. It makes me chuckle. Basically, he just takes the piss out of me for 3 pages. So it's well worth a read, man. And then on the 12th of this month, I have another novella coming out. I know it's funny how these things all happen at once. I have a novella coming out with Little Demon Books called The Grime of the Ancient Mariner. I'm going to leave you with the trailer for that in just a moment. Also for this, because I'm a DJ, as many of you know, and I write to music and things like that. So we thought it'd be a good idea, a nice idea, if I created a playlist. So every story has got at least one song. A couple of them have got 2 songs, but the list is there. It's in that big bundle of links I provided right at the top. It's in there. It's also here. It's tinyurl.com/pseudopod playlist. It's on Spotify. Give it a listen. It's some things influenced the stories, and some were chosen because they fit the story. The story Holler Hills and the village Holler Hills I got because I was trying to think of a name for this place riddled with mines, and I happened to be listening to Bauhaus at the time. And there you go. Yep. Right. Okay, thank you again. Thank you all for joining me, and it is available now to buy. getbook.app/pseudopod_rocks. There is another link there if you don't want to go to Amazon for things like Barnes and Noble and all that. There's a books to read link in that little bundle of links that I provided there. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be under the video. Again, like and subscribe and hit the little bell. And I will see you all next time. Thank you all for joining me, and I will leave you with the premiere of the trailer for The Grime of the Ancient Mariner. Thank you and good night.